Hi, and welcome back to the Catching Up on Socials podcast. My name is Cindy, I am your host, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about how your self confidence influences the way you market your services or your products. Stay tuned. Hi, everybody. It feels good to be back to talking about business, talking about entrepreneurship, talking about marketing and ways to sell products or services online. I'm excited to be back. I'm happy to announce that our website is live now. Yes. And we've added a few new things and some things that come in too, like business resources page, like resources that you can use, tools and resources you can use to manage or market your business online much better. Things to make it easier, which I'm going to be mentioning one tool that you can use as a small business owner in Africa, especially. And I'm really excited about the things that are to come. Yeah. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about one of the major things that, with my experience helping small businesses manage and grow their online presence, one thing that I know that a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs rather deal with, which is a lot of self-doubt. We're going to be expanding on that topic in this episode. And yes, I'm excited to talk about this because I was talking to a friend of the kind of content I would like to do. Now I understand perfectly that a lot of people are already teaching you tips and tricks on how to grow your business online. That is already out there. And which we're also going to be reposting some of them that we find interesting, cool. But we also wanted to delve into the very should I say constant in whatever small business is starting or has been growing, which is you as the entrepreneur or the founder of the business. Now, from my own experience with small business owners, something that's one thing I've come to realize is a lot of people have issues with self. They can't bring themselves to do certain business tasks because they don't see themselves that way. Either they feel too shy or they don't feel competent enough to carry out that um tax or that thing that they need to do for them to get their products or their services out there. And I won't lie, even me as an entrepreneur and small business owner, as well, I deal with my own level of self doubt, but I keep constantly practicing certain things I have learned from self personal development. Basically, it influences, or rather, I've come to realize the connection between self and our ways of expressing. Now, to explain that, see your business as a way of you self expressing. Yeah. And a lot of people miss that whole self connection to their business, regardless of how maybe it's really not like on a personal level. Even if you're selling food, you're selling products, whatever it is, you are like the constant there in your business. It's going to expand, it's going to grow into different areas or transform. But for it to get there, I think a lot of people would have to overcome that self doubt, which is what oh yeah, self doubt. They need to build trust and confidence in themselves. Now, what even inspired this was like I was having a conversation with a friend and they're speaking to me how like a struggle that a small business owner was dealing with. And do you know I find that very common? It's a very common thing that I have seen because I have had my own fair share of struggle with self doubt. Yeah, I've seen other people. like I have worked with struggle with. Maybe they can't bring themselves to do certain things because it doesn't feel like them. I know. But we all have to realize that for you to market your business, yeah, or for you to put out your business or products the way that you want to, you would have to step out of self. You would have to walk through the path of discomfort because some things can be uncomfortable. The way you might want to market your products. Now, I know there was a trend where I think that was nearly when TikTok or Reels came out, people were dancing a lot. So this is what we're saying. You don't need to dance, yeah, for you to sell your products or your services. But connecting to yourself would help you come up with the most authentic and unique way to sell your products, which is uniquely you. Let me put it that way. Yeah, so let's get into it. So I'll be creating like an online, like a questionnaire or a survey, which will help you kind of like identify maybe because they said when you label things or where you're able to name something or find out what exactly it is, you'll be able to find your solution to that problem. So like there's going to be a questionnaire on the website which I'm going to include the link wherever you see this podcast. The link to our website is already attached to the page, but for this survey is going to be under the article about this particular topic. Now the survey is to help you identify what exactly what type of self that you may be dealing with. There are different types because even like my whole goal is to make sure I'm bringing you quality when you listen to this podcast. So I was reading more, and you get to learn that that people actually separate these types of self doubt. It's not only just, and I think that maybe when we make it a particular self doubt is like a big word per se that if you break it down, there are different levels of self doubt that you see people deal with. And sometimes it may not be just like imposter syndrome, which is something that a lot of people deal with. Could be in other areas, maybe in customer satisfaction, customer retention. So that survey is going to help you identify it, and then we're recommending certain solutions. But if you still want to read more or talk about it, we are available. And I'll also be recommending a book at the end of this episode for, and I think it's like a book that every business owner should consider reading. When I read it, it helped me connect deeper with myself, and like the practices help me each time I practice it when I'm going for a meeting or when I'm speaking to a new client. Kind of like helps boost your mood, sort of, yeah. And the way he talks more in the book kind of like helps you understand where you are currently and things you can do to improve. Yeah, so look, I'm going to attach the link to all this. We're going to talk more about it. But first, before we even get into it, what is self doubt? Now, plainly, I'll say like self doubt is when someone is having like no confidence in their own abilities or decisions. And in this context of business or being a business, is you not fully believing in your products or your services. And sometimes in yourself, like, who am I to create this thing that people need? Yeah, for me, that's what I would define self doubt as. So there is imposter syndrome, there is negative self talk, there is indecisiveness, yeah, there is being overly self-critical towards yourself, not trusting your decisions as a business owner. There is fear of failure. There is even the part of like when you've overly achieved something, and then that's where being a perfectionist plays in, that you feel that you can't make mistakes, you try so hard to avoid making a mistake, you don't even want to dream that you it's possible for you to make mistakes. Even people will also, there's also the part of people avoiding certain responsibilities, also comparing themselves to other people, and also trying to please others. So there are different reasons for why people start businesses, but let's explore some of like the most common self-doubt among business owners that they deal with. And this is like grouped into compatibility and competence. Yeah, that's the first one, which maybe imposter syndrome and skills shortage can fall under. Then we have business performance. Some people focus too much on, oh, how am I able to, they're too concerned of how are we going to retain customers and not allow like their competitors steal their customers. There is even fear of, they keep comparing themselves to different businesses. There's a worry about not being able to make money or money not come from the business. There's also the operational challenges where they are feeling overwhelmed because they are doing too much or the workload. There is, okay, if like when there's not enough funding for the business. There's also the phase where some people experience like they can't grow as a business sort of. And there's also the customer focus side, which is they are worried about not meeting customers expectations, and they are kind of like uncertain about their customers needs and preferences. So let's talk about this ones, yeah, and how they influence how you perform in your business. Now, for imposter syndrome, that is people doubting their own abilities or feeling like they're a fraud. I don't personally think that you can completely get rid of this, but from my personal experience, I've been able to deal with that with always adopting this mindset of a learner. Yeah. Like regardless of where I've gotten to, I always look at every opportunity and situations as I am always learning. I'm here to learn, yeah. And that allows me the opportunity to make mistakes and learn from it. Some people, this is all that like the first one, which is capability and competence. And under this, we have imposter syndrome and skill shortage. Now, skill shortage rather. And as spoken about imposter syndrome, what helps me deal with it is understanding that or taking this mindset that I am a learner, I'm always open to learning. Well, skill shortage comes in when you're feeling like you're not skilled enough or you're underqualified. I would also say that recognizing, okay, I want to improve here, but this should also not stop you from practicing where you are currently. So if you feel like you're underqualified, take classes, but also still maintaining that mindset that I am a learner, I'm here to learn, and it's kind of like helps you stay open to making mistakes. Yeah. It helps you being open to learning from everything and everyone around you. So you're not going to feel like a fraud that much. I won't lie because see, to me, I don't think you completely erase these feelings. I think you keep practicing out of it. And I remember one time when I was speaking to my friend that I was feeling weird about calling myself a marketing consultant, which is something that I actually do. And it's like, who am I comparing myself to? Do you get? It's because I'm comparing myself to somebody feeling like, oh, this person is here, this person looks this certain way, this person does these things, and I don't. But at my own with my own self, my own level, I'm able to still deliver in ways that people appreciate my work. So he had to remind me that I need to check who I'm using as a standard to measure myself, that I'm feeling like I am not enough or feeling like I'm underqualified to call myself this. Yeah. So I hope sharing this tip helps whoever is dealing with doubting your own abilities or feeling like you're underqualified. Now for business performance, we have financial uncertainty, which is worrying about profit or cash flow. We have fear of not being able to compete with larger businesses, and you're concerned about losing customers to your competitors. Now I feel like this is the phase where you get really honest with yourself. Yeah, you have to be honest with yourself. If you're someone that lies to yourself, I don't think that you're really going to grow the way you want to. Now, when I mean being honest with yourself is it's something I even learned from One Page Marketing. I don't know if you've not read that book, I recommend you read it. It's going to teach you a lot on how to market at your own level. And when I say level, I don't mean that maybe you're not on the level of other businesses. Certain businesses you shouldn't compare. You shouldn't even like me. I know in marketing they talk about your competitors and all that, but I don't think they are doing it in a way for you to feel not good enough. No, I think it has to do with your mindset. You reframe like you changing your mindset to look at it in a way that when you see your competitors, you are inspired, yeah, for how far they've gone and the things they are doing. You shouldn't take that as an opportunity to start self-sabotaging or making yourself feel like you're not doing enough. And when it comes to business performance, worrying about cash flow and like if you're going to make profits. Now, there's one quote that I like. I'm going to find it, probably share it on the page. But it talks about how worries does nothing than steal you from experiencing your present, like the present moment. Worries do not help you solve any problems. They don't. And this is where you need to practice self-trust. Trust in the things that you are creating. And fear of not being able to compete with larger businesses. Why are you trying to compete with larger businesses? Why? If you it, that and that is it. I feel like people always kind of look towards people's success stories and forget that everyone is coming from somewhere. Yeah, those businesses that have grown now and they are big, they all started somewhere. You are comparing your phase 1 to somebody's phase 50. That makes no sense. So I'm going to suggest that this is where you have to be honest with yourself. You are at your beginning stages of your business. You haven't even gone that far. It takes a lot of people 5 years, 10 years to grow that business. And you just started maybe year one, year two, even year three, and you're feeling like you need to compare yourself to Coca-Cola or I know Coca-Cola is a rich, but it's just an example. And that's even something that the one page marketing mentioned. When people they want to market and they forget about their own business size and where their pocket is, they want to market like certain big brands. You're not going to reach your ideal customers. Now, for customer retention, if you're scared that you're going to lose your customers to your competitors, maybe you don't trust your product enough. Maybe you don't trust yourself enough. And maybe you don't really know who your customers are. Yep, I said it. And I'll say this because if you understood who your ideal customers are, you would know how to market to them. And this is, I even mentioned this in the article whereby even in the marketing funnel, there is a space for R, which is retention. And this is not just you just saying, okay, we have to return, we have to, like, it's either you build interest, you attract, and all of that, you make sale. And a lot of businesses, this is what I have figured from my experience helping people manage their page. They are too focused on making sale. They forget that if a customer has bought from you before, that is most likely the customer who is going to buy from you again. So don't just say retention, don't just worry about it. It is your opportunity to create a plan, a strategy of for how you have to keep your customers coming back to you. So, for business performance, I'm going to suggest that you take a step back to understand who your customers are. And if you're lucky, yeah, you've already started the business before you need to do this. Some people have to do this marketing strategy. They have to create a customer profile first before they start selling. But if you started selling and you've had people that have bought from you, good. Now it's an opportunity for you to sit down and create a profile for these people that have gotten from you. Then you'll know how to market to them. Then you know actually what makes people like come back to buy from you. And for me, yeah, I think even indeed we are going to talk about this in another part. I think that's the fourth one, customer focus, of how maybe customer reviews are very important and how you can make use of that. But for this stage, I'll say this is where you sit down to do your to do your marketing strategy, yeah, getting to know your customers better. You have to sit down, you have to analyze who has bought from you or who you like, who is your ideal customer. Some people actually start their businesses and eventually they learn who their ideal customers are. And some people realize that, oh, I have not been selling to my ideal customers, maybe because they've been making losses than profit, or they've been doing certain things like discounts and all. And it's not like they never get customers that want to pay full price. That's the thing. So you also have to consider that. Now, the next one, we're going to expand more on customer retention, definitely. The next one is operational challenges, where a lot of business owners feel like they can't handle the workload and they don't feel financially sufficient, and they experience that they can't scale the business, they can't grow their business. For this one, I'll say that even in the creative industry, yeah, I have realized even for myself as a small business owner, sometimes I tend to overthink a tax before I actually do it. I'm like, ah, so it was this thing. So I'll suggest that if you if you're feeling like overwhelmed by the workload, I think you should practice time management, but also consider hiring somebody if you can. Yep. And I feel this is also where you may need to tap into your community, whereby you ask for help if you need help and be honest about it. Some people, I have realized that a lot of people are not honest about when they want to, when they need help. They kind of like get a lot of people to work for them and they are left with not paying the person. Well, you were not honest from the beginning that, oh, I can't pay you. I know, and I don't know. I know that life is always happening, yeah. But I think that this may be the phase for you to tap into your community and ask for help. You can ask for interns, people who like to learn on the job, or volunteers. There are things like that. People love to volunteer, and you can give them recommendation for the work that they do for you. But I would always recommend you being honest. But if you can hire somebody to get that job done quickly for you, I suggest you hire. And that would be like a huge investment for your business. So lack of financial resources. This also, you see, this also plays into what I'm saying. Ask for help when you need to, but I think a lot goes into it. Sometimes, as a small business owner, you're starting, and then some people start with zero, especially service business. A lot of service businesses may start with zero, but they still need help. And also, you may also like it depends. It depends on the task you're trying to get done. Yeah, maybe there are apps that can help. Now there's AI that can assist you in doing different things. And like I said, tap into your community, ask for help, say you need help with this, and that, and be okay with rejection. Because some people too may need the money, and them trading time to help you where there's no pay might also be limiting for them. So you have to be open to that understanding. Yes. And the same thing goes for when you're feeling like you're struggling to scale your business. I feel like there are a lot of people online that now there's a lot of people teaching different things online, and you have to search for it. And maybe there are people offering free consultations, join communities that can help where you need to tap into communities. That's going to help. Yeah. Next is customer focus. Now, this is even what inspired this topic for me to even delve in and talk about the other ones. I really do enjoy marketing that is very customer focused to the needs of customers or to helping solve a problem. Yeah. And a lot of people worry that they are unable to meet their customers' expectations. They are uncertain about what their customers need and all. And like I mentioned in the previous one, this is where you need to create a customer profile. And this is where you need to ask people who have gotten from you before for reviews. And maybe your review may not only be to you, because I do this too. Your review is not only for you to hear you did a great job. You could also include a form that comes with what areas do you think we can improve as well. And they tell you. Yeah. Yeah, and don't people can't bring themselves to ask for reviews. I find it, but that's important for you to grow. Yeah, and it's necessary because when you hear feedback from people who have gotten from you before, who have experienced your services, then you know how well you're doing or if you're meeting your ideal customers needs helping them solve their problems. So you need to ask. You need to ask for reviews. You need to engage maybe people that have used your products. That's what way you need to know how you've grown. And whatever feedback they give you, I feel like the next few things I'm going to talk about is going to be essential for every type of self doubt that you may be facing. So the first one, yeah, learning how to not take things personal. Even in the workforce, the 9 to 5, that is one freelancing because I freelance. Yeah, apart from being a business owner, I freelance. And that is one thing I have learned detaching my self worth from my work or the things I'm creating, the things that I'm doing, and finding validation in myself. So, if you're a small business owner, this would be a very good practice for you. And the problem is, a lot of business owners don't know how to separate self or their self validation from their work. Yeah, and that's going to take practices. That is going to take you understanding that your level of where your business is doesn't validate who you are as a person. You understanding that you are worthy of the life that you're creating. You trusting in your abilities that you are creative, you're phenomenal, you do a great job. You believing that it's okay for you to make mistakes and you learn from them. And this would help with detaching your self worth from your business. You need to come to the point where you see yourself as where you see your business as like an extension or a self expression of the whole you that you are as a person. Your business not growing as fast as you want it doesn't mean you're a failure. Your business not doing going in the direction that you expect. I'm using expect because a lot of us have expectations for things, and then when they don't go as we plan, we tend to beat ourselves up. So it would be the perfect time for you to practice not taking things personal and not tying your self worth to your business or your work, allowing yourself the opportunity to improve at any chance you get. When your customers give you feedback, is learning how to not take it personal. Yeah. And there's a difference between I am and I do. Yes. So you have a business that you're working on and you're growing. You are not your business. Yeah. Your business to me, I say your work is like an extension of you. Yeah. Like something you're creating. for who you're being. So you're being a creative person who is creating something. So practicing how to separate your self-worth for your business will be very beneficial for you as a business owner. This applies to anybody in the workforce, in the creative industry. Allow yourself not to be perfect. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Yep. So yeah, if you've listened to this episode to this point, I suggest you go to the link below and go and try out the survey. And it's going to give you the same things you talked about. This is like the long conversation about it, basically. And since I've been able to walk myself through overcoming, I am still practicing every day. See, even having to do this podcast, yeah, I had to be like, see, stop overthinking this, yeah. I trust myself basically, and I'm like, I'm just going to record and I'm just going to publish it because I'm not too concerned. Like, I mean, I want to be more intentional about bringing quality and all. So, I'm practicing as a business owner as well as someone who freelances. So, I urge you all to practice. I'm going to leave some practices for you to do in this podcast. And the first one I'm going to recommend is you should read The Psychology of Selling. Now, okay, well, there was a situation where it was about customer retention. People have been buying from this certain customer, yeah. But the problem that this customer was facing is being able to reach out to people. And I think that we don't understand how certain things can be very uncomfortable. And I recommend reading The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy because he gives things that actually make sense in that book for you to practice that is going to help you boost your self-confidence or your self-esteem to help you sell, yeah, to help you sell your products, sell your services, whatever it is you're selling. It works, but the idea is not for you to practice, to read and dump the book. No, I'm recommending this book for you to actually pick the practices that he's mentioned and do them. I do them, and it's been working for me. I see the difference in the confidence boost. My energy goes up each time I do the practices. So, when you read The Psychology of Selling, you're going to find what I'm talking about. And it's going to be a good practice for anybody, whatever industry you are in. So, let's go on to my actual tips of how you can overcome self-doubt, improve your self-confidence. It doesn't take, and this is the disclaimer, it's not going to take one trial because of we are small business owners here. You are let's say you are the person creating the brand. Now that is recognizing that you are a human being. We all have our childhood experiences, traumas that we are all dealing with that have kind of like influenced us like who we are today. And I'm always urging people not to overlook that factor. It plays a huge role in who we become, how we show up in our businesses, how we show up in our lives, and all of that. And the reason maybe that business owner may be struggling to speak to her customers that have gotten from her, even if she has their numbers. And maybe a lot of people, I realize that a lot of people hate being left on red. They call it blue ticks, and they find that if somebody leaves you on blue ticks, it means something. No, it means nothing. You are the one attaching meaning to it. And I also used to think that way too, till I realized, you know what, that we are all experiencing life. Life is happening to everybody. Nobody is thinking about you or your business. So you have to always remind them that you are here, you're selling something, or you got from me before. Yes, that do you get? You have to remind it is your obligation to remind your customers. There's one quote that I really like. That was it. It said it's your obligation to remind customers that you're here, basically. So reflecting on maybe your childhood experiences for that person, they might see maybe texting the customer maybe disturbing them, or like I'm begging you to buy from me. Now all I'm going to say is there's something that a lot of us need to learn is they could say unlearning, yeah, but I'm trying to stop using that word, not completely, but unlearn shame. You have to be able to shamelessly, because you love your product. Them location shame is not really like the motivational word, but you have to really trust yourself, trust the products that you're selling for you to confidently sell it to people. Yeah. And this is even from one video that I'll be posting on the page, because I actually got some lessons from what he said. He said his father said he should never sell something he doesn't believe in. So, my question to you is, do you believe in your products? Do you believe that your products can bring your customer what they need, or what you say your product does? Do you really believe in it? Because if you believe in it, why are you struggling to speak about it? Why are you struggling to tell people, oh, I have this awesome product that can do this for you? Oh, I have this really good app, bookkeeping app that can help you handle your business finances, sending invoices and receipts to customers. Yeah, I'm promoting it. So in the beginning, I mentioned, let's pause it. So in the beginning, I mentioned I was going to recommend a tool for business owners to use. So now that tool is called Keep Up Store. So you can go to your browser and type in keepup.store. Now, this is a bookkeeping software that is very African focused. That's why I really like it, because it's something that we use, yeah, in Africa for small business owners. And for me personally, I'm a freelancer and I use that to send invoices and receipts to customers. But Keep Up Store also has like a storefront for small business owners that have products that they want to sell. If you don't have a budget for the website, they have you covered basically. And I think people can make payments, yes. Once you send them an invoice, there's even like where they can pay you through that. Yeah. So it is an exciting tool for you to use. If you've been looking for a tool that can help you send invoices and receipts or quotes to your customers, I recommend Keep Up Store. Now, one of my favorite thing about it is the promotional messages. I do messages with that. Like, and the thing is, when you send invoices and receipts, people tend to receive through SMS or email. And I also use the promotional message section, which maybe if I have something exciting new to share, like Relotech is going to be doing once again, since we are back to doing business. I'm going to send out promotional messages to my clients or customers. Say hi, we're back. We're happy to bring you content that you can use as a business owner that wants to sell online. So check out Keep Up Store. And I have like a promo code for you to use. Yeah, an affiliate link. It gives you a 30-day trial. So I'll be attaching that to the description of this podcast episode. It's also available on our website. So if you go to relotech.com/business tools, yeah, you see Keep Up Store there, and then once you click on it, it takes you to the website, which is our code is already attached to it. That gives you a 30-day trial for free. Try and see how to make it work for you. So I use Keep Up Store. Definitely, I'm one of the old OGs of using the app, and I'm recommending it to you if you need a tool for bookkeeping, for sending SMS, for sending receipts, quotes, all of that. Check out Keep Up Store. So that's it. So how to overcome self-doubt. Now, I think for me, I'll be suggesting certain things that I do as a person, because like I mentioned earlier, the connection of self to the things we are doing is very important. If you want to improve whatever area you want to improve in your life, yeah, once you improve yourself, everything in your life will improve. Your business, your relationship, the quality of your health Once you start taking better care of yourself, all these things, it's like ripple effect. Everything will improve. If you're not building a healthy relationship with yourself, if you're not caring for yourself and your health, everything is going to suffer, especially your business, your relationship, your connections with people. So, here are like a few things that I personally do. Like I already recommended Brian Tracy's um psychology of selling. There are practices there for you to do. I suggest you do it. And I'll give you one of it is like I always say, I am phenomenal, I am creative, I am creative, I am creative. So when you read the book, you know what that means. So here are a few things that I think that could help you overcome self-doubt and build your self-confidence. The first one is you have to avoid comparing yourself to others. And it's something that people say now. It is not you versus others, it is you versus you. You looking at your past self and where you are currently. Remember that you all are different. You're walking a different path. Everybody has a different origin story. So it makes no sense for you to compare yourself to others. It makes no sense. You need to stay grounded. You need to trust yourself and be, and like it takes a level of liking yourself. And I'm going back to read the psychology of selling. You need to like yourself for you to be able to sell, for you to be able to sell your product, sell your services. Because I'm telling you, when you don't believe in your products, people can tell. You're going to sell like you don't believe in your products. And this is one thing I live by. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you move like you don't like yourself, you're going to do things like you don't like yourself. You're going to put yourself in situations that shows that this person doesn't like themselves. How you sell your products, people are going to tell, does this person even believe in what they are selling? Especially how you move. If you're struggling to text your customers later, oh, thank you for leaving your contact with us. Thank you for this. We have this now for sale. If you want to, if you're struggling to do that, my question to you is, do you really believe in your product? The next is you have to practice compassion. Practice compassion and grace, meaning this allows you not to fall into the phase of being like a perfectionist or thinking you are above mistakes. No, you're not above mistakes. And practicing compassion helps you to see yourself as someone who is always learning and to give yourself grace for the times that you are not doing your best. Even when you still fall into the loop of doubting yourself, you need to still practice compassion and grace to help you get out of that. Now, the next I'll say is to really clarify your values. I think this will help you like stay grounded a lot. When I was trying to come back to content creation, I there was something I needed to stay grounded in my values, and my values are quality over quantity. And the intention is to help create like bring solutions to certain problems that people are dealing with. So therefore there I don't see any need why I would need to compare myself to anybody, because with my content I still go back to say, okay, who is this serving? Does this serve my does it is this in line with my values or the things I intend to do? So like I said, let's start from the first one. Avoid comparing yourself to others, practice compassion and grace, clarify your values. Now, even if you want to, or even find yourself comparing yourself to others, I feel like you should look at it as them as an inspiration. If they've gotten to where you want to be as a business owner, don't see this as the opportunity to be bitter or something. See it as a way to get inspired. How were they able to do this? If you can ask questions, because this is a place maybe you're trying to get to, and maybe refraining your mindset from comparison to being inspired by, oh, if they can do it, I can do it too, would help a whole lot. The next is to find validation within. Don't try to use, okay, because you made $1,000 or CDs in a month. What if you don't make it in next month? I'm not saying that's possible, but I don't know what's possible. What's not. Everything is possible at this point. But you need to find validation in your intention, what you intend to do. And I think I heard this from somebody. I'm trying to remember. It was how to not put your validation in your abilities, but rather in what you intend to do. And I think this actually helps a whole lot. Not when you're unable to do something, you feel like a mess or you feel like shit. No. But finding validation within, like you are enough, you're capable of doing anything that you want. You keep grounding yourself in your intentions that, okay, this is what I intend to do. And when you're able to put your direction or your validation there, I think that will help even with how much you'll be transforming your business or evolving as a person. Now, for people that deal with self sabotaging or negative thoughts, this works for me as somebody who used to be very pessimistic. There is, to me, I feel what you need to do is to create counter thoughts that can help you kind of like quiet that inner critic or negative voice within. It's going to take practice, but it takes you being really being honest with yourself. And this type of thinking usually comes from our childhood where you're always negative, seeing the worst in every situation. You need to keep every person or situation, you need to practice yourself out of it. I was able to do that by creating counter thoughts and not by lying to myself, basically. No, lying is not going to help. You being honest about, okay, I know I don't like this, but I can change it. Change is very possible. And a lot of us don't like change because it's hard, but it's very possible. So you need to create counter thoughts. If you are thinking I'm stupid, your counter thought should not be no. Your counter thought should be in line with something like I'm not stupid. I'm intelligent, although I make mistakes. I am not above mistakes. So you creating counter thoughts for the kind of, because I don't know what's the quality of thoughts in your head. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying to yourself, but this applies to every area in your life, apart from just business. This applies to your health. This applies to your relationship with yourself and other people. So creating counter thoughts is going to help you. Now, recognizing and embracing your strengths. Recognize and embrace things that you're good with, yeah, and honor yourself for those things, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, that we fall into this phase where we feel like we haven't gotten to where we need to be as business owners or anybody basically in our life. And one thing I would always recommend you do is to remember how far you've come. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago, even 1 year ago. You're not in the same place, yeah. And you need to recognize the things that you have overcome, the good things that you have done, those areas you have done well, because maybe you're too used to recognize what you haven't done. Now is the opportunity for you to recognize what you've done. Those are your strengths. Your, yeah, to recognize that. Another thing that I'll recommend every business owner to have is a journal. Yeah, and tracking your progress. From right when you started from the business, journaling helps a whole lot because sometimes we need to process some things and people think they can process it all in their head. I really don't believe that. You get a lot of clarity when you're writing your thoughts down, and that helps you not ruminate on things, whether positive or negative. So buy a journal today and journal about your business. It helps. It helps to get those fears out. And one thing I'll say is develop a mindset that when you are thinking what's the worst that could happen, remember what's the best that could happen. That helps you not dwell on inside. And I'll say is always look to problems as opportunities and possibilities. The opportunity for you to do something and the possibility for anything can happen, basically. And another thing that influences how we feel about ourselves and our business is who we surround ourselves with. Sometimes, yeah, a lot of us are surrounded with people with maybe the same quality of negative thoughts, or you need people that I won't even. This is not a a talk for you to abandon your friends. No, please. But it's for you to communicate some things that are unhelpful. Like maybe there are people that you talk to and they never have anything good to say. That's not healthy for anyone that's trying to do anything in life, basically. So maybe reflect on the quality of people you have around you, because whatever we do, we all need support, and if you don't get it, that's fine. Be your own support. I think that is one way to build confidence. These are just things I'm highlighting for you, but I'll say that the number one thing that does build confidence is challenging yourself, showing up for yourself, being your go-to for almost everything, being your own cheerleader, yeah, being your own everything first. And that takes a lot of work, that takes a lot of healing, that takes a lot of compassion and grace and understanding. And to be able to do these things is for you to reevaluate the quality of your thoughts and your beliefs, and be open to learning from failure. Success, celebrate your success, celebrate it, no matter how tiny it is, but always reflect and learn from things that you miss, things that you fail at. Is going to help you improve, it's going to help you grow. And another thing you need to unlearn shame of is the shame of seeking support. Ask for help when you need it. Yep, ask for help. I hope everything I've talked about has maybe giving you a little bit of insight. I know I can bring you everything, but I can give you a different perspective and giving you a little bit of insight of things that you can do to help improve on in this context, overcome the self-doubt phase that kind of like pulls you from progressing. So now that I have given you my tips, I hope you practice. I hope you ask for help. I hope you embrace your strength. I hope you challenge yourself. Yeah, show up for yourself. That's how you build self respect. Yeah, and self respect is essential when you're learning to trust yourself. I'm going to say this, the reason why you're not showing up from your business the way you need to is because you don't trust yourself, and you need to learn trust. You need to practice all these things. These things don't magically happen, but we practice into it. So now that I'll leave you here, don't forget to check out the links in the bio. Don't forget to check out Keep Up Store, which is going to be a very beneficial tool for every small business owner. Yep, it's time for us to do business. Bye. See you in the next episode.